Let's get to it, y'all. Welcome back to NATOR'S picks. You know what it is. It's week 18. Typo last week. Kept saying week 16 when it was week 17, but this is week 18, the final week of the season. I went 100. Well, I'm at 149 and 107. I'm at overall. I went 12-4 last week. 12-4. Yet another successful week. My upset alert of the week was wrong. However, majority of my picks were right. So very, very close on some of these score predictions. So I'm not even gonna talk about them, but I know we're gonna hit that home run here very, very soon. So stay tuned, guys. I appreciate it. Let's go through week 18 real quick. Last week of football in the regular season before the postseason begins. Let's get into it. All right, let's not waste time, guys. So Saturday, there's two games on Saturday. The first one's the Steelers at the Ravens. I believe the Ravens are resting Lamar Jackson. They've already clinched the number one seed throughout the playoffs. The Ravens have. They just signed Dalvin Cook to their practice squad, and this team looks to make a run in the playoffs. This is a Super Bowl bound team. Steelers, however, great game against the Seahawks. A game I predicted last week that the Seahawks would win. They lost. Pittsburgh came in there and just ran them over, ran the ball right down their throat. I think the Steelers do that here again in Baltimore because they, beat them last time. They need this game so they can clinch the playoffs, the Steelers. So I think they do beat the Ravens here, considering the Ravens are resting starters. So I think the Steelers win 20-17 on the first game of this weekend. And then the second game on Saturday is going to be the Texans at the Colts. Playoff implications for both these teams, Texans and the Colts. Though essentially the winner of this game will win the AFC South, depending on how the Jaguars Titans games go depending on who wins this game, tiebreaker stuff. But the winner of this game goes to the playoffs, and I think Colts at home do have a slight edge over Texans. CJ Stroud has had a phenomenal rookie year. D'Amico Ryan's first year coach. And nothing to be ashamed of. They have a lot to be proud of. Texans fans, good. They're heading in a good direction. Their franchise. Colts here though, riding Gardner Minshew as their quarterback. They also have a good bright future ahead of them, considering Anthony Richardson, their first round quarterback pick, has been injured all year, and they're still in this position. With that defense and a very stout O-line and very underrated receiving core, I think the Colts notch this one out. I think they win here at home. Clinching a playoff spot over the Texans, 27-24. Now going on to the Sunday slate of games. No games on Monday. This is usually it's all division games for the last week of the season. So let's get into it. As mentioned, Jaguars Titans. Titans at home. Jaguars. This is I'm gonna call this my upset alert of the week because the Jaguars were 8-3 at one point and then lost 4 straight games. I've won 1 game since, and then now they're playing the Titans in Tennessee, where they've won most of their games. They've only won 1 road game. The Titans have against the Dolphins. I think the Titans spoiled the Jaguars season here. I think there's going to be a lot of questions in Jacksonville following this, but I just have that feeling. There's the Jaguars need to win. And they've been the spoilers before for other teams. Maybe this is the game where the Titans spoil them. I know Mike Vrabel's going to coach this team hard and not trying to lose no game for a higher draft position. This is going to be a dogfight, and I think it goes to the home team here. In my upset alert of the week, Titans over the Jaguars, 27-17. Now moving on, Vikings at the Lions. Lions have already clinched the playoff spot. The Vikings, however, still on the fringe. They're going on the road. They lost at home to the Lions 2 weeks ago. I think the Lions here prevail at home. Not much to be said. They're looking forward to the playoffs. They want to get, controversial game against Dallas. Obviously, they're still thinking about that. Maybe the Minnesota can take advantage of that because their heads are not in the same place. But then again, I think Detroit has a better team up front, offensive line. Although Brian Flores is going to have the Minnesota Vikings defense playing good as he has most of the season, despite their injuries at quarterback. But I do think the Lions here hold on to win this one, 24-16. All right, Falcons at the Saints. The Falcons and the Saints both, I think either team win could potentially make the playoffs. The NFC South, just a lot like the AFC South, has three teams kind of like in the jungle for it. Depending on who wins and loses is how the tiebreaker folds out. I think in this one, I think the Saints at home favor against the Falcons. The Falcons don't have much of an offense. They have a great defense. Jesse Bates and they're pretty good front seven. AJ Terrell. This is gonna be the game the Saints need to have, and they're at home. It's gonna favor them. Defense will play good, and I think they limit their turnovers here to put them in position to win. I think the Saints win 23-18 over the Falcons. All right, now the Jets at the Patriots, two teams with not much to play for other than draft position. The Patriots are still going forward with Bailey Zappi. Questions to be answered of who's going to be their quarterback and potentially coach. Jets, same case. Not much about coaching, but with Aaron Rodgers, their offensive line, and then how they've handled that, it's kind of been a mess all year for them. I think the Patriots here actually win at home over the Jets, 20-16. Although you can argue that wasn't help them in the draft position. They're currently, I think, picking at 3rd overall, and the Cardinals picking at 4th overall. So if they win this game and the Cardinals lose, it'll be flop. So the Patriots pick at 4th and the Cardinals at 3rd. But I don't think any of these teams are trying to lose on purpose. That's just me. Moving on, we got the Bucs at the Panthers. The Buccaneers need this win to lock them for the AFC and for the NFC South. I think the Saints could make it too, depending on how like the Rams, Vikings, and Seahawks game come out. But if the Buccaneers beat the Panthers, I think they do by de facto win the NFC South, regardless of the Saints and Falcons outcome. I'm not really sure, but however, I think they win here on the road at Carolina, worst team in the league, not by draft position but by record. I think they win here 31-13 on the road, solidifying a very good year and securing at least another paycheck for the next 2 years for the quarterback Baker Mayfield, depending on also how he does in the playoffs for the Bucs if they can win. Moving on, we're gonna go the Browns at the Bengals. Browns, Joe Flacco. Potentially could get the number one. Well, no, they can't get the number one seed anymore. But this is a dark horse pick to potentially upset the Ravens and make a push for the Super Bowl. I think it starts here against the Bengals as the battle for Ohio. The Bengals will definitely not take this game lightly. They're at home. They're going to come out smacking them in the mouth. Their pass rush, Trey Hendrickson, Sam Hubbard, very underrated. Their offense has been struggling a little bit. I expect them to run the ball. But expect the Browns to run the ball and air it out because Joe Flacco's been on fire. Like, might as well call him Joe Flacco Fire. So I think the Browns pull it off in Cincinnati, concluding the Battle of Ohio for Cleveland, 27-21. Cleveland Browns fans have a lot to be proud of. They obviously haven't had a lot of success over the past 20 years as a franchise, but this is something for them to keep their heads up and look forward to their playoff run here in the AFC. Bears at the Packers. These are the two most storied, oldest franchises in NFL history, the oldest rivalry in NFL history. The Packers are hosting the Bears. The Bears, number one running rush defense, and playing. They've announced that Matt Eberflus is returning for next year. No one knows what's going to happen with Justin Fields. But this is a game for Fields to come out and say, "Hey, keep me." At Soldier Field last week, the crowd chanted, "We want Fields." It may be different how the front office does it though. But they were genius with that trade with the Panthers, and now they have the number one overall pick. They can go in any direction with that pick or trade it. Who knows? But Jordan Love and the Packers here, they have something to prove. They want to make the playoffs. I think they will make the playoffs, and it starts here by beating the Bears and then carrying that momentum into the postseason. As Jordan Love's first year as a starter would be significant if he can birth the Packers into the playoffs. Something Aaron Rodgers didn't do when his first year starting. Not sure about Brett Favre, but anywho, I think the Packers win here 21-16 over the Bears at Lambeau Field. Cowboys at Commanders. Commanders at home. Trap game for the Cowboys last year. They lost 26-6. Had a very bad performance. Did not look good. Didn't score a single point coming out the half. They did carry that into the playoffs and win in the wild card round. This time around, I think it's different. I think they come in with a different mentality. Handle business, carry that into the postseason. Should be no reason why they let the Commanders hang around. I can see some garbage time points for the Commanders if Jacoby Brissett is healthy. I think Sam Howell's getting the start. If not, I think Sowell's going to get rattled. The Cowboys pass rush should get after him and maybe throw some turnovers. But overall, all in all, I think the Cowboys take care of business on the road, 38-24 in a division game that really anything can happen. I could see potentially Washington leading in the first quarter, but 38-24 is my final prediction. Cowboys going into the playoffs with momentum. Now, Broncos at the Raiders. They play each other week 1. Broncos lost by 1 point at home. Raiders are hosting this game. I think they're going to be playing hard for Antonio Pierce, trying to advocate that he should be their coach and not trying to hire someone else, even if it's Jim Harbaugh coming out of college. But Broncos here didn't look very good last week in my upset game where I had the Chargers beating them. It was a weird upset game. It was kind of insignificant, a game that didn't mean much. The Broncos are kind of in a fiddle. Sean Payton, Russell Wilson benching is kind of just a mess. I don't expect them to beat the Raiders, who are playing motivated defense. And offensively, they have weapons, although they haven't been able to get the ball into the hands of their weapons on offense. But maybe this game they actually do it, and I think they win here. The Raiders do at home over the Broncos, 28-14. Moving on now, the Eagles at the Giants. They played each other 2 weeks ago. The Giants came up 8 points, a possession short, lost the game by 8 points. But Tyrod Taylor was looking good, and this was the game where they benched Tommy DeVito and put in Tyrod Taylor. And last week, Tyrod Taylor started for the Giants, and they almost beat the Rams at home. They lost by 1 point, and they're hosting the Eagles here. I do think the Eagles take care of business because they do have a good team. They're obviously going through a little weird disarray right now, switching defensive coordinators, and everyone's frustrated and blah blah blah. And to be honest, the Giants can beat them here, but not much in my mind suggests that the Giants are motivated necessarily to play hard for the. Maybe they're looking in their draft for a quarterback. Who knows? And looking to get under that Daniel Jones contract, considering he didn't play very well before he got injured. And Brian Daboll, I believe he's going to stay, but a lot of decisions there for both these teams. But at least the Eagles are the ones that are guaranteed a playoff spot. So that's why it's logically that I think they win this game and then carry that into the wild card round. So I think the Eagles win here over the Giants in East Rutherford, 26-23. Seahawks at the Cardinals. The Cardinals at home have been a good team, and although this running defense is not the best, and the Seahawks with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, I think they can take advantage of that. But the Seahawks have kind of fizzled out. I think I don't know if I love Pete Carroll, but I don't think this is going to be. I think this might be Pete Carroll's last year. The team is young still, but it's kind of just. They're the most penalized team, I think, behind the Cowboys. Most penalized, most penalty yards. Bad contracts with Jamal Adams. He hasn't really been made much of a splash all year. The Cardinals are motivated going into this offseason. Head coach just doubled down. Jonathan Gannon, I believe, doubled down that Kyler Murray is his man, and then Kyler can play more free, and knowing that this team is going to build around him. Considering they'll be having a top 5 pick, even if they win this game, which I expect them to do. I think the Cardinals win here at home 34-17 over the Seahawks, eliminating the Seahawks from the playoffs. Unfortunately for them, and I don't think Pete Carroll lasts this year. It'll be like a mutual split, I believe. Rams at the Niners. This game could be interesting. Now, I believe the Rams have clinched a spot. Even if they lose this game, they will still be in the wild card. So I think the Niners already have the number 1 seed throughout the playoffs. I think the Niners are resting Brock Purdy, maybe Christian McCaffrey, and a couple other players, potentially Deebo Samuel and Trent Williams. But even with that being said, I think the Niners are going to put up some points here at home. They beat the Rams week 2. They want to beat them again. These teams do not like each other. I think the Rams come out here running the ball. Kyron Williams. He probably will play the whole game, but I don't know how they manage the starters. The Rams do, because they do have that spot clinched. Maybe they throw out their backup quarterback. Maybe they have their backup running back, and keep only a couple of receivers in the game. Maybe they risk Cooper Kupp. But I think the Niners here win 30-20. But both these teams are in the playoffs, so not much. I don't think it's going to mean much for the Rams to beat the Niners. It will and it won't at the same time. So I think the Niners win at home. Chiefs at the Chargers. The Chiefs are going to win the AFC West, and they'll have a home wildcard game, and they might have to go on the road depending on who they meet, if they play Baltimore and whatnot. But the Chargers in LA, the Chiefs visiting, usually always take care of business here. In the last 3-4 seasons, I think they've always beat the Chargers in LA. And I think they do the same here, 27-13. And finally, the last game, the night game, the winner go home. Well, not necessarily the winner go home. Win the division. This game is for the division. And in case of Buffalo, it's a winner go home scenario, because if the Dolphins lose to Buffalo, Dolphins are still in the playoffs. If the Bills lose to the Dolphins, and the Steelers and I think if the Steelers and the Jaguars, if the Jaguars beat the Titans and the Steelers beat the Ravens, and the Bills lose to the Dolphins, the Bills are out of the playoff picture. Not what Bills fans would expect at the beginning of the season, but they've been playing hot. They've won 4 straight games. The Dolphins have got annihilated by the Ravens, 56-19. Xavier Howard got injured. Bradley Chubb tore his ACL. Like, who saw that coming? I mean, I kind of feel for them. I don't want that to happen for any team coming this late into the offseason, and this might be the worst timing for them. I think Tyreek Hill is going to get passed by Ceedee Lamb for the league leader in receiving yards, and Lamb already leads in receiving receptions, and he needs to score 3 touchdowns against the Commanders to be tied with Mike Evans for the league lead in touchdowns. And if Tyreek Hill gets one, he'll be also leading the league in touchdowns. It'll be 3-way tie, considering Mike Evans doesn't score in his final game against the Panthers, which I think he will. But other than that, let's just keep it to the game on focus. Tua, the running game, and Tyreek Hill's are going to do whatever they can to get this game. But it's just going to be too much to handle, because the Bills Mafia, even though they're on the road, have been playing some of their best ball. Whereas, like, don't make Josh Allen win you the game. Run the ball, establish a defense, and be aggressive on the offensive line. Attack the line of scrimmage, and they've been doing that a good job. This is not a team no one in the AFC wants to see. The Bills or the Browns. Those are the 2 teams no one wants to see in the postseason. So the Dolphins here have a big task. At home, I think they fall short. I think the Bills beat them on the road 25-21. That wraps up Week 18. I will see you guys in the playoffs. We'll be doing this again. A little different place, maybe. And then as for right now, stay blessed. Tell your family you love them. And be optimistic about things. Like I always mention, I try to mention at the end of these games, this is not for no money. We're not checking spreads. We're not a part of Vegas. This is just this is the way I can show and prove that sports is still pure and fun, even without the betting. I mean, that's just me, and I don't like where betting is taking the game itself. But guess what? I'm not going to think about that. I'm going to keep an optimistic mindset, and I want everyone who plays this game to be safe and still be able to come home to their families and feel like they've achieved something. And that's what everyone wants at the end of the day. So take that with you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Love you guys. Peace.